have not at times because we ask not. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 5, final day of Torah portion Pinchas. I want to wish you Shabbat Shalom. I trust that you will have a meaningful gathering with family and friends, and the King's presence will be with you at your table and in your gatherings as you study His Word together. And also thank you for those that send words of encouragement, comments, ask questions, make contact, and even those who support. Thank you very much. Let's go into Bamidbar, Numbers chapter number 27. We find a very interesting incident, and we begin with verse number 1. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad, son of Hefer, son of Gilad, son of Machir, son of Manasseh, from the clans of Manasseh, son of Joseph. These were the names of his daughters, Mala, Noach, Hagla, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood before Moshe and before Eleazar the priest and before the leaders and all the congregation by the doorway of the tent of appointment, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, yet he was not in the company of those who were met together against Yahweh in company with Korach, but he died in his own sin. He had no sons. Why should the name of our father be removed from among his clan? Because he had no son. Give us a possession among the brothers of our father. Sometimes we have not because we ask not. There's something that I've had to learn over the years. I would rather personally, in my personality type, go around the bush 10 times than to have a confrontation. There are times, though, that the Father has corrected me soundly, saying, Son, you must learn to become more assertive. My wife often encourages me, you have to stand up for yourself. Well, I, by personality trait, would rather avoid the conflict. But there are times where being assertive is the answer. Standing up, asking the question, pushing the issue a bit, making the point, saying something when it needs to be said. We cannot always be diplomatic and tactful. I use those skills quite readily, but sometimes you just got to say what has to be said. Not pleasant, it's awkward, but it's got to be done. Now let's look at the situation a little bit more carefully. Zelophehad. His name is a combination name meaning salaf or wound and echad or one. The Gesenius Hebrew Chaldee lexicon says it means fracture or first rupture, that is, he is a firstborn. Interesting. So as a firstborn male child, he would be of the Melchizedek order of priesthood. Now, this is not a teaching about one priesthood being a replacement for the other and that kind of thing. Not going there. It's just that there is a family role of priestly function, intercession, and caregiving in a spiritual sense that's expected from the firstborn, especially a firstborn male. Not to say that a woman is insignificant. Not going there either. So this man died in his own sin by his own transgression. Rashi and others, I think, are the ones who say that he was the one that was gathering sticks on the Shabbat and was stoned. Perhaps. Nevertheless, we have 5 daughters here. Because they do not have someone to inherit for them, they stand to go into the land and look around watching everyone else get their inheritance while they themselves are left with nothing. If they don't say something, if they don't act assertively, if they don't inquire, then they're going to stand there looking around with nothing in their hands wondering, what do we do? In that case, the only thing that could happen to them is that someone with compassion would take them in. So they come and ask Moshe, why is it that we have no inheritance? Should we not be able to inherit land in behalf of our father? What's interesting here to me is that Moshe goes to Yah to inquire, and having inquired, he receives more information than what he previously had. Sometimes circumstances that leave us confused and befuddled are intentional in that we would seek the Father so that he could have a conversation with us and enlighten us and give to us information. It's important that we learn to ask good questions. Good questions are as important as good answers. We have to learn to ask what is important in order to gain information about what is important. So we go to him. Moshe went, he inquired, he gets revelation knowledge. He's coming back blessed and benefited. Now his understanding of the heart and the character of the Father is actually increased. And Yah says that they may inherit by marrying, but they must marry within their own tribe so that their inheritance is within their family's tribal allotment. This gives us more information that the Father is still specific, protective of tribal allotments. Now, I've known of people who claim that they're from one tribe or the other, and how they came to that conclusion outside of some specific revelation knowledge or word of knowledge, I don't know. I don't know that there's a bloodline test available that would allow you to understand. I believe that in that day when we stand before Messiah, that he will indicate to us where we belong and among which tribe. So while you may yearn for a particular area of Israel that you visited to be your home, not everybody can live in Jerusalem. Not everybody can live on the Golan Heights. Some of us are going to live perhaps somewhere that we haven't visited yet. Yeshua will know where we belong. Tribal identity is important. Specifics are important. Personally, when I read vast details of information, if it's not in study for a particular understanding, if it's technical knowledge, if it's exhaustive, elaborate explanations of things, if it's a long, drawn-out conversation that goes on and on and on, trying to include every detail, my mind becomes overwhelmed. Thankfully, Yah's does not. And he's interested in the details. You can't jump just from A, B, and C all the time. Sometimes you got to get down in the ditch and try to figure out what the detailed important parts are. So number one, Yah, it gives more detail and instruction upon request. And number two, it's important that his boundaries are observed. What Yah has decreed as a boundary is still important to him then and now. Now, notice too also that there are 5 daughters here. In my mind, when I saw that there were 5 daughters, the first thing that came to me was, are these likened then unto the 5 wise virgins? Those who paid attention. Those who saw the opportunity to lose what was offered to them, and they made provisions to make sure that they held on to it. Not being willing to lose through slothfulness, through lack of attention, and from lack of asking. In these last days, it's important to you and I that we likewise walk in wisdom. Wisdom is one of those commodities that is severely lacking. We have knowledge. We know a lot of facts and figures, but oftentimes we lack wisdom, and we also lack understanding. Yah wants to give us both. So my friend, I encourage you, while it is Shabbat, that you find those precious moments where you can steal away and seek the Father's face and ask the questions that are important in order for you to receive the information that is important. And may you hear and understand and gain wisdom from the Father's answers. Thank you again so much for your support and your encouragement. We'll see you again next week. Shabbat Shalom.